Hey guys, this is Marcy with Creators Call, and I am working on a top secret project. Shh. I've got something that I wanted to make for Christmas for my son-in-law. He's studying biblical studies, getting his master's degree, and he wants some books for his Christmas present. And I was trying to come up with a creative way to present the cash for his books, because they're ones that you purchase online. So all he's really asked for is cash. I mean, that's really what he most wants. And these are commentaries so that he can continue to use them throughout his career. But what occurred to me is that I could make one of those book safes. You know, the ones that you open the book and inside is a secret compartment. And I thought that might be a clever way to give him the cash for his Christmas present. I'm whispering kind of because they are here right now. It is the day before Christmas, December 24th. I thought I would go ahead and try this together with you guys online. I have to make it anyway, and if the video is a bust, I just won't show it. But if it turns out, maybe we'll have learned something together. Easy peasy, right? The first thing I did when I decided to make this was I went to YouTube, obviously, and tried to look up videos on it, and happily, one of the first ones that came up that's got the most views is a video from Lindsay Wayrick, the Frugal Crafter. It's from 9 years ago, but let me tell you, she went right through it. It was very clear and concise, and it made me think, hey, you can actually do this. I watched a couple more videos, and I picked up some tips from another gentleman. He's got it's like maybe a 3 to 5 minute video, very short. And he had some really good tips. So I'm going to incorporate a few of those tips as well. So I've got, first thing I have is a book. And I asked my daughter, I had a couple that I had gotten from the little free library here in the neighborhood. I was just going to give them back. So I asked her which one would look most likely to be sitting amongst the books on their shelf, just in case they decided they wanted to reuse this again. So if you're a person who's squeamish about junk journals, cutting up books, yada yada, please remember that often a lot of these mass market books, paperbacks and hardbacks, wind up in the landfill. So the fact this was sitting in a little free library and nobody wanted it, in fact the books I put in when I took this one out are still there, and it's been several months. So clearly not a huge turnover. So we're not desecrating something sacred. We are taking a book and repurposing it for something good, okay? So that's my PSA regarding taking books and using them for craft things. Okay, so what Lindsay did was the first thing, she saved out a few pages at the front so that it looked like, a legitimate book. And I think it would be fine if I just saved out these first few up until chapter 1. Now, I wasn't quite sure what to do about a closure or how to make sure the book stays shut and would still be something kind of masculine looking and would sit on the shelf without it being, if I tied it, it would be in the way and stuff like that. So in the comments below her video were quite a few where people suggested magnets. And I thought that's great, because from my mini album days, magnets are something that they use quite a bit to make closures. And so I'm going to take some of these itty bitty magnets and I'm going to put one on each corner on this side. And then you can use just flat washers. And I think they need to be like steel. Don't quote me, but anyway. That way you don't spend money putting magnets on both sides, because these can be kind of expensive. You can use the flat washers and they will connect just fine. So the only thing I have to be careful of is how deep I put these magnets and how much I cover over the washer on the cover. But I think if I took the washer and then just put it under here and laid down the first fly leaf, I think that would be fine. And then when you open it, those would be hidden under here. And then at chapter 1, we could hide the other magnets. By the way, this was a really good novel. Apparently there's a whole series of them with all the letters of the alphabet by Sue Grafton. Really good. So if you're looking for a good read, W is for Wasted by Sue Grafton. I'm going to leave this top sheet, and then I'm going to place the magnets under there so that when we glue everything down and in place, this will cover the magnets and they'll look pretty, and then the other ones will be covered up here. So that was my thinking. Now I do want to grab a couple of binder clips, which I didn't bring over. There we go. And the reason I am doing that is because I'm going to work on this side first and then place them on the cover. And so I just want all of this out of the way. There are different sizes of magnets, and these I'm going with the 1/4 inch because that is the size of a standard hole punch. So that's a 1/4 inch hole, and I think if you were to try this, pretty much everybody has one of these. If you don't, I got this at the Dollar Tree. You can get them at Walmart. They're like $1. So not very expensive, and they're just so handy. You should probably have one in your house no matter what. So I'm going to lift up that first page. Actually, I can just clip that first. Okay. And then I'm going to mark out where I want these, but I think for purposes of cutting, I don't want to glue all that in place until I have my middle cut out, okay? Do I or do I not? I'm not really sure. These are kind of deep. These are about, what, 1/8 of an inch deep. So that's how far I need to go down with the hole punch. I'm not sure. So honestly, we're just flying blind here, and we really hope this works out. If it doesn't, he'll just get them in a pretty envelope. So what I'm going to do then is punch these holes, but I don't really want to set the magnet until I've got the hidey hole cut out. So let's, oops, I grabbed quite a few. Now I gotta go get them. So I'm just going to put in my 1/4 inch hole until I've reached a depth of about 1/8 of an inch. And I'm doing this a little bit at a time just because the hole punch can't handle too many pages at once. I have to empty my hole punch there. Okay, now I grabbed out, oh my goodness, these are really stuck. So I grabbed out a couple that are easy to just get a hold of right here. So these are the ones we're going to actually use. But I wanted you to see that just search for Super Strong magnet, and then you can, I think Basic Gray used to have these, the Basic Gray brand, but Super Strong magnet, and then you can get 1/4 inch, 1/8 of an inch, 1 inch, whatever you like. So I have had these for a while, and I am just going to test this against one of these magnets. Maybe if I can get them apart. This one is just sitting on top of the other one. There we go. That one's still in the package. So it looks like I just need to make that just the teensiest bit wider, but I'm going to have to go down a few pages first. Then we'll work on making it wider after that. So today is the day before Christmas. We went to church this morning because, of course, December 24th was on Sunday this year. Then we're going to go to Christmas Eve service at my younger daughter's church so we can hear her sing and watch my son-in-law play drums. So we have to do that at 4 o'clock, and I need to get this done before that because this has to have time to dry and everything, and I just didn't have time yesterday. Also, I lost my tree skirt. I can't find my tree skirt, which is a bummer because my mother made it for me. And it's the same one that we had around, the same pattern that we had around our tree growing up, and I love it. But I do remember last year it didn't fit in the boxes with Christmas decorations, so I put it somewhere safe. And now, for the life of me, I can't remember where safe is. Then we also have to put up our stockings tonight, which we don't have a mantle, so we have to put up command hooks Very, very Victorian. Okay, let's see if that's roughly deep enough. I'm going to just compare the depth of my book pages to the depth of the magnet. It looks like it is. So perfect, but we kind of need to hollow these out just the easiest bit more. So I'm going to just widen that circle a little bit. It's not beautiful, but it'll do. I just need the magnet to sit in there a little bit better. Do you guys have plans for the new year? Do you guys make resolutions? Do you just carry on? Do you have great plans, trips, or grandchildren, or children, or graduations? I don't know. Anything great coming up in the new year? New house, new car, whatever. And if you do make resolutions, what kind of resolutions do you make? I typically don't, but I just feel like if I need to make a change, I can just make a change in my life at the time I need to make it, not wait until the new year. Okay, oh good. That's gonna go in there just fine. And on this side, it should be okay-ish. I'll fiddle with that when I get to that point. Okay. Now comes the tricky part, and I don't know how long this will take. I'll have to let you know, because we're going to start cutting through here in layers. Now Lindsay had a metal ruler, and I don't have one. I just have this one with the metal edge. She just went ahead and just freehanded by putting her ruler. You can watch her video, it's linked below, but she just put her ruler around and then use that to make her hole. The guy with the handy dandy tips said to make a template, because your template is going to guide your edges as you cut through the book. It's going to guide your edges and keep them from like angling inward as you go down. It's going to keep them straight up and down, and I thought that was a good tip, so we're going to do that. And this is just a template I drew from a picture frame and out of a scrap piece of, a scrap from a paper pad, you know, the cover. Okay, so we're gonna just cut through here a few pages at a time. And I'm gonna be a little quiet because I have to concentrate. And I already went past where I needed to go, so great. Great. It's not easy. Everyone did suggest using a utility knife or these snap-on disposable knives, and I think that's a good idea. You can make the hole as big as or small as you want. Since I had the picture frame, okay, it's like catching the wood part of the ruler, I think. The magnets got stuck on my binder clip. That's the other good reason to have a binder clip, is because, oh my goodness. The other good reason for having a binder clip is to keep these pages out of the way while you're trying to cut. So I'm already off to a rip-roaring good start. So, okay, so we're just gonna cut through there. Remembering I have never done this before. Never, never. Okay, now as far as this goes right here, where I cut too far, I'm just gonna use some tape on it. We'll just hold that. So that way that will stay together through the gluing and everything, and it won't matter. You know, it doesn't have to be beautiful. Okay, so I got through 1, 2, yeah. Definitely the metal edge ruler is making a case for itself because it's hard to keep from, you know, nicking the wood as I cut. And there's that. Let's put a piece of tape. So she just went through and did a few pages at a time and worked her way down through the book, which is what I'm going to do. Well, pretty much everybody I watched except for Lindsay, they were all guys, they suggested that you put a piece of cardboard or something underneath where you want this to go, where you want to stop so you don't keep cutting through your pages. She managed to do it without a piece of cardboard because she knew where she wanted to stop. So I can use my craft mat here if I want to. That's, you know, being a crafter, that helps. The second thing is that I wanted to have something in there that we could put the cash in, and or you could save your other pieces in. And so I've got this little thing, I think it had Q-tips in it, and it will fit right inside that frame just right. So as long as the pages are deep enough to fit this, I might want to go just a few more down. But as long as the depth of the pages and the hole is flush with the top of this, everything will work fine. And I still think I want to go further down. There, that's better. Because otherwise, if this sticks up at all above this, then this won't close, right? So this is all going to get glued as one big book block. Let me talk about the part now with the template. So what the gentleman with the template suggested, and his looked nice, I gotta say, is he took a pencil and he went through here. He just, you know, drew a line as far around the section he had already cut, and then he matched that against his template here to make sure that the hole was always going to be consistently big enough as you work your way down through the book. And he just went around it and drew it in pen for the second. So as he was working his way through the book, you could see that sometimes the pencil line was smaller than the actual space on the template, and so you wanted to cut where the pen is and keep yourself lined up all the way through the book. So now I'm going to go through and I'm going to cut all the way down to here. This is page 335. So as long as I keep this mat in there, we're good. I'll know where to stop. Anyway, and then I can keep these pages out of the way with the binder clip. The ones I've cut, I can keep out of the way there, okay? So I'm just gonna work my way through the book, taking my knife, running it against the straight edge, this metal edge of my ruler. Whoop, I went too far again. It's really easy to do, so. Well, somebody's got something going on out there. And then I just work my way through. The hardest one is for me to not get my head in the way and still line up against my ruler over here. Oh, for heaven's sakes, just go to the door. Okay, and then you just go through and keep cutting. And try really hard not to keep cutting further than you need to. So part of my problem right now is that I'm trying to keep my head out of the way. So I'm going to continue to work my way through, and I'll try to be cutting more than one page at a time until I get down to page 335, and then I will come back. Also, safety tip, make sure when you're not working with your knife, you always retract it. Yeah. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, so here's what I was talking about. I drew the pencil line by laying all my pages down and drawing inside the rectangle, but when you lay the template on top of it and draw the pen line, the pen is quite a bit, the pen space is quite a bit bigger than the pencil space. So that's what he was talking about, and I will tell you, this is slow going. I am not very good at this, but we're on page 93. Anyway, we will carry on. I think it's going to be worth it. I don't have any other tips other than watch those really good videos because they certainly knew what they were doing. So let's get to the next step. Let me show you what happened. I did not go as far as I thought I would. I only went to page 247. This obviously does not look as nice and neat as the pros do it, but you know, it was just kind of, everything kept moving. In retrospect, I'm not sure that the template really helped. I think Lindsay's method, she just had a 1-inch wide ruler, so when she set it against all the edges, she was consistently cutting all the way through. Even with the template, I still got off and this was still moving down, so I had to go back and just kind of gauge against these first pages as to where the box should be. So it's not neat and tidy by any means, however, it fits that, so I decided to quit. The next step then would be to glue all of the pages. I think I did some erasing. It looks like I got little eraser bits in there. I debated, I went back and forth, like should I put in the magnets first and then glue, but they won't stay in there without the pages glued in place, I don't think. So that's I think going to be the way that I do it. So first, we're gonna want to glue these guys in place. I'm just using Mod Podge, and this is my homemade mix, which is 2 glue to 1 water. I know you use the all-purpose Elmer's white glue, so 2 to 1 glue to water. And that's how we're gonna hold this thing together. So we're just gonna slap it on there, go to town. I don't think you have to be too neat and tidy, although what I should do is put my little mat under there, so I have a mat for my mat, right? And you just want to go through and glue all of these together. I'm going to go like that so that it lines up in the right spot. And Lindsay just went around and glued all around the pages. Now I feel like we need some glue in between just to kind of hold things together. I don't think she did all of the pages in there, but I think she did do some. I keep meaning to try to get into more of the altered book aspect where it's more artsy and mixed media, but so far that hasn't happened, but there are a lot of good people out there to watch. However, this is a step in that direction. I'm gonna grab my lid so I have somewhere to rest my brush. I'm gonna just go like that. And of course I don't have a wet wipe because that would be just too organized today. I'm gonna go ahead and glue this shut. We're just learning together, guys. I don't know if I'll ever make another one of these, truthfully. It's just fun, though. It's a fun way to try to give a gift, and I guess I don't really have to be a pro, necessarily, to have that work. You know, to make this and to have it look nice. Okay, I got a wet wipe here for my hand. You know, I think he'll just appreciate it no matter what. So... okay, so she just went around the book block like that. She had it open where I think she just left it like this. She did. She just started putting glue in here and kind of gluing all those edges of those pages together. It seems to me you would want glue in between the layers. I think really the main thing is to make sure that you keep everything square and kind of flat, you know, that the book isn't leaning to one side when you're all done. Which I think once I get this done, I can make sure everything's square and that the book is put together a little more solidly. Or just trial and error. This could look terrible. I don't know. It'll get the job done for a one-time use, and then if they decide to leave it on their shelf, great. As you can see, my edges are not super neat and clean in there. And again, I just think if I did have a metal ruler and I just laid it down around the outside edges and cut to the inside of that, I would probably get a much more consistent look to the cut to the hollowed out piece. Now, if you go through her video, she's got something like 700 and some odd comments. I don't know, tons of comments. And lots of good ideas down there, which is how I got the idea for the magnets. But also people mentioned you could line this with felt or velvet or whatever if you wanted to do that. Which this pen mark right there is not super pretty, but I'm not going to do any of those things. But if I had time, you know, that would be nice. Or maybe take some chipboard and construct like a little box that rests in here and then glue it in place. But for right now, we're just gonna keep adding glue. Making sure it all gets good and stuck together. Just go to town. It doesn't have to be super tidy, you know? I wouldn't say I'm the, uh-oh, I'm already trying to glue down my top page, which we don't want to do. Okay. What I do want to do, however, is go around these outside edges. Like she said, you just want to get the glue down in there in all the cracks. I don't know why it's gapping right there. Who knows? And then I need to find something heavy because at the end we're going to just set some kind of heavy weight on it and let it glue shut for the night. And this was one that was just, like I said, I got it out of the little free library down the street, but the person that left it in there had bought it at Savers, the thrift store. So it isn't like somebody's precious, cherished book or anything. Okay, let's do that. Yeah, I just gotta have a way to keep all those pages together. Now she said something or other about you want to see the glue sinking down in between the pages. But since I watched that video 2 days ago, I don't don't remember exactly what she said. But I do remember coming away with the feeling that I could do this. Okay, so I don't want to get the back of the book in the Mod Podge. In the decoupage glue. Okay, so now with our step, whoop, whoop, whoop. Now we're gonna try putting in the magnets, which clearly I need to glue this in place too. This is the top page where the magnets are going, so obviously that needs to be glued down very well without ripping, without and keeping that as flat as possible. You could go inside here too and paint like with gold paint. I did think about doing that on the outside of the pages. Okay. And at this point, I'm just kind of in let's get it done mode. So this little thing, I had trouble getting it open. I'm going to leave the washers in there for a moment. And let's see. I want this to line up, so I'm going to have to get my hands all mushy. There's no getting around it. And I'm just trying to stick these little magnets down in here. I'm also trying to not get the book in the glue. And I want it in there as flat as possible, but it seems to be getting hung up on something. Here we go. Here we go. There, that one pops right in. That one works pretty well. This one does not want to lay in there flat. I guess I'm just going to get in there with my finger and kind of hollow it out a little bit so that it will lay in the flat. Come on, buddy. And I'm feeling a little bit of time crunch because the glue is drying. That's what I'm wondering. Oops. Okay, that doesn't look pretty. I'm just hoping, all I really want is for that magnet to just lay in there. I don't know if it matters if there's an up and a down. I mean, there is when you put two magnets together, but if I'm not putting it with another magnet, that would be one thing. If you're putting another magnet on the cover, you want to make sure that you've got your polarization correct. But since I'm using washers, it should stick no matter what. Okay, ha, he's in there. Go in there, bud. Okay, now, hopefully it's not too late. So I may have, there we go. Because I stuck glue on that and then I forgot about this part. We'll just do our best. I'm going to scoot my camera over a little bit to where the book is, because if I scoot the book, I'm going to get it in that glue. Okay, book. I would not say it's going to be heirloom or anything. But because we're Mod Podging it again, I think that should just leave this all nice and shiny. Now the book page is coming out. Come on. I'm having a trouble, guys. Right here at the end, probably because I'm hurrying. If I could take a little more time. Although Lindsay moved pretty fast on her video, but she's more experienced than I am at everything. She's a great crafter. I do enjoy watching all of the things that she does. Okay, so there's that. I think that's going to be good. What I did not mention is that you need a piece of waxed paper. So first I'm going to get the glue off my fingers so I'm not sticking glue where I don't want it. Okay. Then I just kind of got it a little bit big so I could fold it in half, and then you just lay it in there. Boom. Shut the book. At this point, if you weren't doing magnets, you would place a weight on it. But since we're doing the magnets, we still need to do that part. And so, how we're going to do this is, we're going to grab these. And this should stick, I mean, they are sticking. There's some attraction there, but it will probably work better once this is out. However, obviously, I can't do that. Oh, and I forgot to take out my paper clip. There we go. So, once I get them where I want them, and I'm kind of eyeballing it based on where I know I set them down there in the book here. Then I've got my double-sided tape, and I'm just going to hold them in place. Oops, got glue coming off my fingers. And that should keep the magnets from sliding around. Then I got too much. I'm gonna figure out how to put that on there. Okay. Oh, I got glue all over me now. Okay, and then I think it would be very nice to just use double-sided tape here and here. I don't want to go too close to the edge of the book because this page is not going to come all the way up to the edge. And I still have some on my finger here. I am going to burnish it with my bone folder so that gets a nice good a good seal, you know, it adheres really well. It's a little bit harder with these two, but we're gonna do our best. Now we're gonna peel the backing off. And I don't know if you can tell or not, but there's just a little bit of it hanging over the edge of the book, so I'm gonna fold it back in. And we'll take these off. Now, another little trick, I know I've shown you before, but I always like to mention it in case you missed it on another video, but I'm going to shut this here in a second. It's all going to stick, but in case there's a mistake and I need to peel it up again really fast, we just go over the double-sided tape with some glue stick, and that gives you a minute to adjust things. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to do that. Now, the last thing I would like to do is really take a good look all around here and really squeeze my book just to make sure that I've got enough glue in the cracks. You know, in between all the pages and stuff. Probably shouldn't glue all the way up to the very top because, well, I can do it underneath the, I can, you know, put the glue all the way up to where the waxed paper is, because that's the part that we have glued together. And then the pages above that are loose. So, and I'm gonna have to go out in the garage and find one of our weights for our tent, bring it in, and stick it on here. I should have grabbed those while I was out in the garage, I forgot. But anyway, I just want to weigh it down with something heavy, and then this thing is going to have to just sit here all night and dry and stick. And then, with any luck at all, I'll have a minute in the morning to show you how it turned out. Okay, so let's see how this part turned out though, where we did the cover. Nice. Look at, that's what I wanted. Okay, that worked. Yay. Okay, I am back. Now, I came in this morning, I looked it over. Last night I actually came in and looked at it. I had the waxed paper here, if you'll recall, and I just opened the book because I was afraid it wasn't going to get dried out enough. I left the wax paper in place, but this morning I removed that. I was afraid it might just stick and never come off. Now, I will admit this does not look very beautiful. It's not nearly as pretty as the other ones I've seen. The glue held though, and it made a really nice thick book block. It didn't stick right here, but in some respects, when you close the book, it just looks like, you know, that might be how it looks on the shelf. The magnets, I'm a little disappointed in. They sort of work, and that may just be because I have too many pages in between, but that shouldn't really matter. However, it is what it is, and when I put this in here, it's still a little bit too thick. So what I did for the rest of the morning here, about the last 3 hours, I've just had this weight. I had this sitting on it last night, and then I put it back on it this morning to kind of help squash the spine down and maybe get those magnets to stick a little bit better. So that is how it turned out. It is kind of messy, unfortunately, and I would say as far as a first effort, it's but you know, it's a creative way to present a gift, which is what I was going for. So overall, it turned out okay. Now, the book set that he wants is called Logos. So I decided I would take some play money and just call it Logos Cash. And instead of putting the real money in there for the gift, I thought I would just do this for the moment, and then we'll give him the real money later. So that is how the book turned out. Like I said, it's not quite as, it doesn't stick as well as I had hoped, so not really sure what to do about that. I don't know if the glue shouldn't have interfered with it, but I don't know if it did or not. So Also, I have kind of a shiny spot here. I don't know if you can see, but there was a rip here, and I really wanted to make sure that the waxed paper didn't stick to anything. So I also put down a piece of acetate, but when I took it off, it still left a super shiny spot. So it looks like there's something on there. I don't know if they will end up reusing the book or not, but it was an interesting first endeavor, you know, and it, like I said, it's a creative way to present a gift. I do like that this part really glued together very nicely. I am super disappointed in the magnets, but it's going to accomplish the purpose that I have for it. So all in all, I think it turned out okay. Can't say I would ever do these again, but I might. You never know. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments, and let me know if you would ever try this, or if you have tried this, if you have any tips or what have you. Now I'm off to wrap his gift, and we'll be celebrating Christmas with our family here in just a little bit. I hope you all are having a wonderful holiday, or had a wonderful holiday. This is airing in that week between Christmas and New Year's, so you know, there's always a lot going on and kind of a dead week in between, and then 2 holidays on either end. And I just love this week because life just slows down a little bit, and we can really just enjoy time with other people, a slower pace, before we're back to the hustle and bustle of every day. Until next time, guys, be inspired, do something creative today, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye-bye now.